What happens when cherry blossoms bloom across entire cities for just 14 days? When bullet trains race at 300 kilometers per hour, never a minute late. When 110 active volcanoes reshape the land beneath your feet. You find monks meditating in thousand-year-old gardens. You find robots serving coffee in automated cafes. You find geisha preserving arts while skyscrapers glow with neon. Welcome to 6,800 islands, balancing tradition and tomorrow. Our journey begins. This is Japan. This is the country where a chain of over 6,800 islands rises from the Pacific, stretching 3,000 kilometers from subarctic Hokkaido in the north to subtropical Okinawa in the south. The four main islands hold most of the story, but each smaller island whispers its own tale of volcanoes, tradition, and transformation. The population stands at roughly 123 million people, compressed into a land area of 378,000 square kilometers. Two-thirds of this territory climbs into mountains and forests, leaving only narrow coastal plains for cities and farms. So people built upward, creating vertical cities where trains glide between towers and neighborhoods stack upon neighborhoods. Not to forget, Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates collide and grind beneath the surface. This geography brings both blessing and curse. Over 100 active volcanoes dot the islands, their heat feeding 27,000 natural hot springs, where Japanese people have soaked away their troubles for centuries. But the same forces trigger 1,500 earthquakes each year, most too small to notice, some powerful enough to reshape coastlines and rewrite history. And of course, Japan isn't behind in technology. The Shinkansen bullet trains connect this scattered nation with surgical precision. These trains run so exactly on time that leaving even 20 seconds early requires a public apology. Japanese society moves to similar rhythms of exactness, where the smallest detail matters and every action carries weight. Three writing systems weave through daily life. Hiragana curves gently for native words. Katakana strikes sharply for foreign imports, and kanji borrows thousands of Chinese characters to compress meaning into symbols. Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples share the spiritual landscape without conflict. Most Japanese people practice both, visiting shrines for life's beginnings and temples for its endings, weddings at one and funerals at the other. This flexibility extends through Japanese culture, where ancient tea ceremony coexists with robot cafes, where businessmen in suits bow deeply to each other before discussing quarterly earnings. Cherry blossoms bloom for just 2 weeks each spring, transforming the nation into a temporary paradise of pink petals. The Japanese have a word for this: mono no aware, an awareness of the impermanence of things that makes beauty more precious because it fades. This philosophy shapes how Japanese people see everything, from flowers to life itself. Women in Japan live an average of 87 years, men 81, making this one of Earth's longest-lived populations. Scientists study Japanese diets, social structures, and healthcare systems, searching for the secret. But perhaps the answer lies in something harder to measure, in communities that care for their elders, in daily rituals that create rhythm, in a culture that values balance over extremes. From the volcanic peaks to the neon valleys, from the silent Zen gardens to the roaring pachinko parlors, Japan contains multitudes. Our journey begins in its heart, then spreads outward to the edges, where islands disappear into mist and ocean. Tokyo. Dawn breaks over 14 million people in Tokyo proper, 37 million in the greater metropolitan area. This makes it Earth's most populous urban zone, where humanity has learned to live densely without descending into chaos. The Shibuya crossing stops all traffic every 2 minutes. When the lights change, in one cycle, 3,000 people step off curbs from every direction, crossing simultaneously in a carefully choreographed flow. Overhead screens tower above the intersection, flashing advertisements that illuminate faces in electric blues and reds. This single crossing has become the image the world holds of modern Japan: ordered chaos captured in 90 seconds. But take a 30-minute train ride northeast to Asakusa, and time shifts back over a millennium. The Sensoji Temple rises behind its massive red lantern gate, drawing 30 million visitors annually through the Nakamise shopping street, where the scent of toasted rice crackers lingers much as it has for centuries. Incense smoke drifts across the temple courtyard while visitors toss coins, bow deeply, and press their hands together in silent prayer. Tokyo divides into 23 special wards, each functioning almost as its own city. Akihabara pulses with electronic shops stacked 7 stories high, their speakers blasting anime theme songs onto streets crowded with collectors hunting rare figurines. Harajuku showcases youth fashion that changes weekly, where teenagers in elaborate costumes photograph each other on Takeshita Street. Ginza displays luxury brands in buildings designed by famous architects, while Shibuya and Shinjuku compete to see which can build the tallest towers and the brightest lights. The Tsukiji Outer Market still operates in its original location, even though the main wholesale fish market moved to Toyosu in 2018. Vendors arrange octopus and tuna on ice under fluorescent lights, while sushi chefs serve breakfast to customers who arrived before dawn. The combination of absolute freshness and centuries of knife skills creates something that transcends simple food and becomes art you can eat. Trains move 40 million passengers daily through Tokyo's subway system. The Tokyo Skytree shoots 634 meters into the sky, tall enough to broadcast television signals across the entire Kanto plain. From its observation decks, the city spreads in every direction until it blurs into haze, a continuous urban landscape that seems to have no end. Kyoto. (1,600 temples and 400 Shinto shrines survived in Kyoto because American planners removed it from the atomic bomb target list in 1945. This decision preserved Japan's cultural heart, a city that served as imperial capital for over 1,000 years. Narrow streets wind between wooden machiya townhouses, their latticed windows and sliding doors designed in an era before cars existed. The Gion District maintains these buildings where geisha and maiko still train in traditional arts. Evening brings the sound of wooden sandals clicking on stone pavement as these performers travel between tea houses, their white-painted faces glowing in lantern light. Fushimi Inari Shrine climbs Mount Inari through 10,000 vermilion torii gates donated by businesses hoping for prosperity. Each gate bears the donor's name in black characters on the back. The path winds 4 kilometers upward, passing smaller shrines where stone fox statues guard the grounds. Early morning brings the best light and fewest crowds, when mist still clings to the gates and the only sound comes from your own footsteps. The Golden Pavilion reflects perfectly in Mirror Pond when wind dies and water stills. 3 stories covered in gold leaf catch sunlight differently throughout the day, glowing warmest at sunset when the entire structure seems to burn with inner fire. The current building dates from 1955, rebuilt after a monk burned the original in a moment of madness that inspired a famous novel. Cherry trees bloom along the Philosopher's Path each April, creating a pink tunnel that draws photographers from around the world. The 2-kilometer walk connects several temples, following a canal where petals drift on slow-moving water. Kyoto moves more slowly than Tokyo, preserving rhythms from centuries when seasons mattered more than schedules. Here, people still practice tea ceremony according to rules established 400 years ago, arranging flowers according to principles that assign meaning to every stem's angle. making pottery on wheels turned by the same families for 15 generations. Osaka. Osaka Castle rises from massive stone walls where individual blocks weigh 60 tons. The five-story main tower dominates the skyline, rebuilt in concrete in 1931 after the tower burned down in 1665. Inside, a museum chronicles the unification of Japan under samurai rule, displaying armor and weapons that decided the nation's fate. But Osaka's true heart beats in Dotonbori, where the canal reflects 1,000 neon signs advertising restaurants, theaters, and shops. The Glico Running Man sign has marked this spot since 1935, his arms raised in eternal victory. Below, crowds pack the streets hunting for takoyaki, okonomiyaki, and kushikatsu, the local specialties that earned Osaka its nickname as Japan's kitchen. Osaka people speak Kansai dialect, which sounds rougher and more direct than Tokyo's polished speech. This linguistic difference reflects character differences. Where Tokyo residents maintain formal distance, Osaka citizens chat with strangers, crack jokes with shopkeepers, and generally refuse to take themselves too seriously. The city's comedy culture produced most of Japan's famous entertainers, people who learned to make audiences laugh in venues that line Dotonbori's back streets. The port brought foreign trade and foreign ideas to Osaka before most of Japan opened to the world. This early exposure to outsiders created a city less bound by tradition, more willing to experiment, more interested in what works than what's proper. Street vendors grill octopus balls on special pans with spherical indentations, flipping each takoyaki with picks so fast their hands blur. The finished balls come topped with sauce, mayonnaise, seaweed flakes, and dancing bonito that waves in the rising steam. Hiroshima. The Ota River splits into 6 channels before reaching the sea, creating a delta where Hiroshima spreads across low-lying islands. Almost everyone knows this detail. On August 6, 1945, at 8:15 in the morning, an atomic bomb exploded 600 meters above the city center, killing tens of thousands instantly and bringing total deaths to over 100,000 by year's end. The Genbaku Dome stands exactly as it stood that morning, its skeletal dome frozen at the moment of destruction. The building survived because the blast came from almost directly overhead, pushing outward rather than down. Now it serves as the Peace Memorial, preserved forever in its ruined state. The Peace Park surrounds the dome with green lawns and monuments. The Children's Peace Monument displays thousands of paper cranes folded by students from around the world, each string of cranes a prayer for peace. An eternal flame burns in the park's center, promised to keep burning until the last nuclear weapon disappears from Earth. Hiroshima rebuilt itself as a symbol of resilience and hope. Modern buildings rise around the Peace Memorial Museum, where schoolchildren learn what happened through artifacts and testimony. The museum never flinches from the horror, displaying melted bottles, stopped watches, and photographs that show the immediate aftermath. Miyajima Island sits just offshore, accessible by ferry in 10 minutes from Miyajima-guchi. The floating torii gate of its Fushimi shrine defines the island's silhouette, standing in shallow water that covers and uncovers it twice daily with the tides. Deer wander freely through the town, considered sacred messengers of the shrine. Mount Fuji. Japan's sacred mountain rises 3,776 meters above sea level, its snow-capped cone visible from Tokyo on clear days. Mount Fuji last erupted in 1707, covering the capital in ash. For 319 years, it has slept, building pressure beneath the summit crater. Five lakes ring the mountain's northern base. Lake Kawaguchiko offers the most famous views, where photographers position themselves at dawn, hoping for perfect reflections in still water. These moments of mirror-perfect symmetry occur rarely, requiring windless conditions and patient waiting. The climbing season runs from July through early September, when snow melts enough to make the trails safe. 300,000 people attempt the ascent annually, following paths worn by centuries of pilgrims who considered reaching the summit a spiritual achievement. Almost 20 mountain huts along the route provide rest and basic meals, allowing climbers to sleep partway up before pushing for the peak at midnight, timing arrival for sunrise. From the top, clouds often spread below like a second ocean, their surface broken only by other peaks. The sunrise transforms this cloudscape into rolling waves of gold and pink, making the cold and altitude worth enduring. The mountain appears throughout Japanese art and culture, printed on currency, reproduced in paintings, referenced in poetry. Its perfect cone represents idealized form, nature achieving geometry without trying. Nara. Nara served as Japan's capital before Kyoto took that role, and the city's age shows in its architecture and layout. 1,200 sacred deer roam freely through Nara Park, their ancestors granted protected status 13 centuries ago as messengers of the gods. They bow when offered senbei crackers, a behavior learned from watching humans and reinforced through generations. These deer have no natural predators and show no fear of people, creating surreal scenes of wildlife wandering through an active city. The great Buddha of Tadaiji Temple sits in meditation, 15 meters tall, cast in bronze in 752. The building housing this statue ranks as one of the world's largest wooden structures, though earthquake damage forced it to be rebuilt smaller than the original. Even reduced in size, it dwarfs visitors who walk beneath its massive pillars, feeling tiny in the presence of something built to inspire awe. The temple grounds spread across over 500 hectares, containing dozens of secondary shrines and gates. Deer wander these spaces as well, living alongside the monks who rake paths and tend gardens. Kasuga Taisha Shrine features 3,000 lanterns, both stone sentinels and bronze hangings lining its approaches, donated over centuries by worshippers. Twice yearly during special festivals, all 3,000 are lit simultaneously, transforming the paths into rivers of flickering fire. This is the place Buddhism first established its strongest foothold in Japan, where continental ideas merged with indigenous Shinto beliefs, creating the synthesis that still defines Japanese spirituality. Hokkaido. Japan's northernmost island wakes to winter temperatures that regularly drop to -20 degrees Celsius in the interior, with extreme cold occasionally reaching -30 or below. Snow blankets the landscape from November through April, accumulating in depths that would paralyze southern cities, but here merely signals the start of ski season. Sapporo, the island's capital, celebrates this cold with a February snow festival where sculptors carve buildings, animals, and cartoon characters from blocks of ice. Some creations tower 3 stories high, illuminated from within after sunset. 2 million visitors bundle in winter coats to admire these temporary masterpieces that melt when spring arrives. Underground passages connect downtown buildings, allowing residents to shop, eat, and work without stepping outside during the harshest months. This subterranean city mirrors the surface, complete with stores, restaurants, and even small parks, where artificial light substitutes for sun. But winter's severity brings compensations. Natural hot springs steam in the cold air, creating clouds of vapor that drift across snow-covered rocks. The island's wilderness extends for hundreds of kilometers, forests where brown bears dig dens and sleep through winter. Hokkaido holds Japan's last significant wild spaces, places where human presence fades and nature operates according to its own rhythms. Matsumoto Castle. Black walls rise from still water, where the castle sits reflected in its moat. This fortress earned its nickname Crow Castle from the dark wooden exterior, contrasting sharply with the white plaster of most Japanese castles. Built in the late 1500s, it survived Japan's modernization period, when most feudal structures were demolished. The original construction remains intact, including wooden staircases so steep they approach vertical. Climbing these stairs requires using both hands and feet, understanding instantly how defenders could hold each floor against attackers struggling upward. The Northern Alps provide backdrop to this scene, snow-covered peaks rising beyond the castle's perfect reflection. Cherry blossoms frame the moat in spring, their pink petals drifting on water, while mountains gleam white behind black walls. Inside, arrow slits pierce the walls at strategic angles, creating overlapping fields of fire. Hidden rooms once sheltered guards who could spring out to defend against intruders. The original design prioritized function over comfort, every element serving military purpose. Yet one section breaks this pattern. A moon-viewing pavilion extends from the main keep, built not for war, but for aristocratic pleasure. Here, lords would gather during full moons, composing poetry while musicians played traditional instruments, finding beauty even in a building designed for violence. Kamakura. The great Buddha sits outdoors, 13 meters of bronze casting that has weathered 8 centuries of rain, wind, and earthquakes. Originally housed inside a temple hall, the building was destroyed by a tsunami in 1498. The statue remained, too massive to move, so it has sat beneath open sky ever since. Visitors walk inside through a door in the statue's back, climbing into hollow bronze chambers where workers once assembled the casting, piece by piece. Light filters through the Buddha's eyes, illuminating the interior space, where pilgrims have left prayers and offerings. Kamakura served as Japan's political capital from 1185 to 1333, when samurai took power from Kyoto's aristocrats. Those years left the town with 65 Buddhist temples and 19 Shinto shrines, far more than a city this size would normally hold. Hiking trails connect these temples, winding through forests where bamboo grows thick alongside cedars. The paths follow routes worn by medieval pilgrims, though now they attract weekend hikers from Tokyo who come seeking quiet spaces away from city crowds. Beaches stretch along Kamakura's coastline, drawing surfers year-round to waves that build offshore and break with reliable consistency. The contrast defines the town. Ancient temples inland, while modern beach culture thrives along the shore.
Okinawa.
Turquoise water laps against coral reefs, where tropical fish swim in formations that shift like living kaleidoscopes. This is Japan's subtropical edge, islands scattered across ocean so far south that palm trees replace pines and typhoons blow in from the Philippines. The Ryukyu Kingdom ruled these islands independently until 1879, maintaining trade relationships with China while keeping distance from mainland Japan. That separate history shows in language, cuisine, music, and architecture that differ markedly from northern traditions. Shuri Castle stood as the kingdom's royal palace, destroyed in World War II and rebuilt in 1992, then destroyed again by fire in 2019. Reconstruction continues, workers following historical plans to restore what flames consumed. World War II hit Okinawa with particular ferocity. The Battle of Okinawa killed over 100,000 civilians, roughly one-third of the island's population. Peace Memorial Park commemorates these deaths with rows of stone monuments bearing names, a physical manifestation of loss that cannot be measured only in statistics. Yet, the islands maintain traditions through occupation and tragedy. Three-stringed sanshin instruments still provide music for traditional dances. Elderly women perform ceremonies to honor ancestors, and somewhere on every island, someone still knows how to weave fabrics using techniques unchanged for centuries. Fushimi Inari Shrine. Vermilion gates begin at the shrine's base and climb the mountain in unbroken succession. 10,000 torii form tunnels of redwood and black calligraphy, each gate donated by someone hoping for prosperity in business. The path winds 4 kilometers upward, rising through gates that vary from massive structures you could drive a car beneath to tiny torii barely knee-high. Walking creates rhythm, one gate after another, red pillars framing the path ahead while the city disappears below. Stone fox statues guard smaller shrines along the route. In Shinto belief, foxes serve Inari, the god of rice and prosperity. These sculptures hold various objects, keys and scrolls and jewels, symbols of the gifts Inari provides to faithful worshippers. Early morning brings the best experience, when mist clings to the mountain and few others walk the path. The gates glow in soft light, their red deepened by moisture. Sound changes too, each footstep louder in the quiet, echoing slightly off the wooden structures. Halfway up, the path splits into multiple routes that eventually reconnect. Some trails lead to viewpoints overlooking Kyoto, the city spreading across the valley, while mountains rise beyond. Here, between earth and sky, with red gates framing distant views, the shrine reveals why it has drawn pilgrims for over 13 centuries. Gion District. Gion District wooden townhouses line narrow streets where cars cannot enter. Latticed windows filter light into traditional interiors, rooms with tatami mats and sliding doors preserved from centuries past. This is where Kyoto's geisha and maiko still live and train, learning arts that take years to master. The shamisen 3 strings must be plucked with precise timing. Dance steps follow patterns established centuries ago. Tea ceremony requires memorizing movements so exactly that each gesture appears effortless. evening transforms the district. Lanterns glow outside tea houses, their soft light illuminating cobblestones worn smooth by generations of footsteps. Sometimes, a figure appears in kimono and white makeup, wooden sandals clicking as she hurries to an appointment. These brief glimpses, half seen in lantern light, carry the weight of centuries. Many tea houses remain exclusive, with entry requiring introduction from existing clients, maintaining traditions that began when these establishments served samurai and nobles. This exclusivity preserves tradition while creating mystique, transforming ordinary streets into stages where glimpses of geisha become treasured moments for visitors. Hanami-Koji Street runs through Gion's heart, restaurants and shops occupying buildings that have stood for generations. Here, tradition functions not as museum piece, but as living practice, the past continuing into present without pause. From snow-buried Hokkaido to subtropical Okinawa, from the neon pulse of Shibuya to the silent meditation of Zen gardens. Japan reveals itself as a nation of carefully maintained contradictions. This is Japan, where every detail matters, where tradition and innovation dance together, where the future was built by people who never forgot the past.